Hi, my name is Brooke Littman,
And I'm Dr. Deb Flippin,
and this is Wine Together.
a podcast where we drink a little wine and have a chat.
So sit back, relax, and get that corkscrew ready.
Ching ching.
Last week we talked about sports. This week we'll be talking about books.
I'm sorry, I probably am just
It's okay.
ready to talk about this book. I'm just a little excited about it because, we do a little reading at school, and so I've been taking The Book Thief with me.
Yeah.
Now, I was supposed to be finished with it before September 1st so I could start Dune. I'm not quite finished.
Hmm.
So I'm at the point where Liesel finally received the special book that Max wrote before he kind of.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what's going to happen with Hans. I'm terrified,
I don't want to tell
terrified,
you what
terrified.
happened. It's
Uh,
so good.
and
Like
so
you.
Rosa, poor Rosa. I mean, this is the first time in the book I've liked Rosa. Well, no, I liked Rosa. Probably the first time was when she went to the school to
Yeah.
tell Liesel that Max woke up.
Yeah.
And at first I thought, I just woman, but I think that I see I see a lot of mothers in Rosa. I think
Yeah.
she she's just not a soft person, but
Yeah.
I think she is I think she's a loving person when it comes to the people in her life that are important.
Yeah.
What are you reading?
I started getting into Blood Done Sign My Name. I haven't really
Hmm,
read that much recently.
that is
I'm
so
only
good.
I think I haven't even gotten to chapter three yet. I'm still on chapter two. Um, but yeah, like I started reading it a little bit more in class on Thursday. And then I was supposed to read today, but I got busy during my break doing some other stuff. So
That's okay. No, it's such a good book. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And keep in mind, this is a person's personal account, how he
yeah.
remembers. Now,
Yeah.
he was a child
Mhm.
when a lot of these events took place. So some of the events take place as he's older, but it's his perspective. So it is, you know,
So you want to know something really cool that I
yeah.
like to do? Is I like to find like a book that's fictional, and then I like to find a book that's non-fictional, like a narrative kind of book, or just some kind of nonfiction that mirrors it. So, with Night by Elie Wiesel, the mirrored book would be The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Oh
With A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, the mirrored book is Angela's Ashes.
yeah. Okay, well,
That's
I haven't finished Angela's Ashes.
and I had one with Blood Done Sign My Name. The mirrored book would be To Kill a Mockingbird because that's I mean it's directly
Oh yeah.
based, kind of like he wrote that book because of To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I think I'd like to try something like that.
Mhm. Well,
So
you have because you started reading Angela's Ashes.
yeah, I've started reading
Oh,
Angela's
and you
Ashes. I
started Tree.
love A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. Love,
Really good.
love that book. Do you still
Yeah.
have a copy of it?
No, Mason has my copy.
Mason has it. Okay, well, still in the
Well,
family.
I guess it's not technically my copy, but it was
Yeah,
given to me by you guys, and I think you said I could keep it. And then I
I
said read it, and he never gave it back.
well, we'll get him to read it and give it back to you because yeah, I absolutely love that book. And I love the way your dad speaks about that book because
Mhm.
it reminds him of what he thinks it would have
Yeah,
been like for his grandmother in New
yeah,
York,
mhm,
Brooklyn.
yeah,
So, that actually brings a tear to my eye thinking about it because, you know, he's a
yeah,
softie. You don't want anybody to think it.
yeah.
But I'm telling you, when it comes to books and movies, he likes some good books. I don't know what he's reading now. I don't know if he told you last week.
Um, I don't know if he's reading anything right now.
I know he has a book by A.J. Riddle on the Kindle that he's supposed to read. But, he also said, and we're getting a little off topic, sorry. He also said to me right before he left, do you know how long it's been since I played Elden Ring?
Oh my God. Well, he's been playing a lot recently, so because we had a
Okay.
couple days off on Thursday and Friday. So he got to play. I mean, I don't know if he played while I was in class. No, he went on a bike ride. So
Yeah.
I don't know if he played before that, but he did get to play for a little bit. And then, but we've also been watching a lot of football. So,
Okay. Did you get a
because like,
channel?
yeah. So we got the Blue Sport subscription.
Oh, good. That's probably not that expensive.
It's $35 a month or 35 francs a month.
I guess he'll get rid of my GA to pay for that.
Um,
He's
which
probably already done that.
I don't know. But I mean, I think it's worth it because I was like, oh, I mean, like I did because I didn't realize it was going to be that expensive. So I was like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. And he was like, no, I mean, like we'll just try it out because we got the first month free.
Okay. Yeah.
So for right now, it's not
Yeah.
35 a month. But we got the first month free. But like obviously it's like through the cable, so I don't know if it's like how that's gonna work.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there could be something else we can take off of that. But
yeah,
anyway,
that's
tell me
true.
what book is going to mirror my book, that the book thief.
The book thief. Oh, I mean that might go. I haven't found one yet. But it might go along with night. I mean, I could even see it dawn, even though dawn happens after World War II. I could see dawn mirroring it.
Okay.
Well, but
So
Dawn is more of a fictional account than Night is. Like it's not fictional, but there's more, I think, artistic license he plays like because it's his life, so he
yeah,
could play as much artistic
he say
license.
whatever he wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's also been a really long time since I've read Dawn, so I don't even know if I'm correct in that.
And I have no idea where the copies are. I'm sorry. I don't.
Yeah,
I
it's
really don't
okay.
know. But guess what? I did order these for the older students. I ordered the trilogy. Well, hopefully it gets here
Yeah,
soon. And I want them to read Night because I think that's the easiest
yeah.
one.
I mean, Night is like required reading in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, well, I think so.
It was when I was
But
in high school.
supposedly one of them said he's already read The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I don't know
It's
how much I want that, but
um,
you might need
but
to cut that out.
but yeah, like I need to find like an actual like book that mirrors the book thief because
Okay.
I
Well, I think I mean, because I ordered an extra copy for me, or I asked them to order an extra copy for me, because
mhm,
obviously I have to read along with the students.
mhm.
So I could kind of read on after I finish the book thing, but
Yeah,
I have to redo. I've got to redo. I
yeah.
promised Mason I'd redo. I promised I'd start in September, but my goodness gracious, what a busy weekend.
You know what might go
Yeah.
along? I haven't read Dune. Well, I read the first couple chapters. But I mean, it's not technically nonfiction, but it is kind of based on his life. But oh my God. Uh Slaughterhouse-Five.
Oh, okay. So I've already read that one.
Oh, so
So
that because it's you have you read it?
yeah, I read Kurt.
You
Yeah,
get it.
Vonnegut. Yeah,
But
yeah,
you
yeah.
see what, well, you haven't read Dune. Like have you saw the movie though, right?
Yeah, a few times. I've been with
Okay.
Nathan for a while.
Can you see like the point that I make in that it could be kind of similar?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
And we
not
think it because if you think about World War II and
yeah.
where they was at, where he was describing, and honestly,
Mhm.
and think about, I mean, I'm seeing it
It
even in
was
the book
written in
thing.
the 80s.
Yeah, but
So I don't know if the author, if Frank Herbert, like I mean, but he probably lived through World War II, like
yeah,
when he was really, really little. I can look it up. Um, but I mean, he probably at least knew a little bit of like obviously what was going on. He was born in 1920.
okay,
He actually passed away in 1986, so it must have been like, oh, actually, Dune was the 60s, not the 80s. I think the first
okay,
movie came out in the 80s.
okay.
Um, but yeah, Dune is he's from Tacoma, Washington. Interesting. Um, he, I don't know if he fought in World War II then. Let's see. Now I'm really interested. He did. During 1942, after the U.S. entry into World War II, he served in the U.S. Navy's Seabees for 6 months as a photographer, but suffered a head injury and was given a medical discharge. So he did like see World War II like firsthand. So, and what's his name? The author of Slaughterhouse-Five.
Kurt
Kurt
Vonnegut.
Vonnegut.
Yeah,
Yeah. Kurt Vonnegut like fought like that's a
yeah,
practically a account of his time in World War II. And
absolutely. Even the city where he was at.
yeah, and So, I mean, but you can kind of see, like, I haven't read Dune, I haven't seen the movie, but I kind of know what it's about. Like, there's a war, right, that's like going on.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was like modeled off like his experience, like, because he took pictures. Like, even if he didn't fight in it, like, he still had to be there. Like, he was a photographer, he had to be there in the thick of it. If he, like, got, because I think from what it said, he got injured, like, on a ship or something. So, he was there taking pictures like of the fighting that was going on. So he has like a firsthand account of it.
Yes, definitely.
That kind of.
And I think, I mean, I'm not a
Mhm.
published author or anything, but well, technically I am. But anyway, uh, I do think that when we write, we
Mhm.
absolutely do pull our own experiences
Yeah.
in.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm trying to get students to do is just think about
Yeah.
you have a story in it. You have a
Yeah.
story to tell. It doesn't have
Mhm.
to be the gory details.
Mhm.
You can make it the good stuff. It's your
Yeah.
story to tell. How do you want to say it?
Yeah.
And you know, but yeah, of course, his story is what he experienced.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because I don't I don't know I don't know who did the latest movies. I don't
Mhm.
know directors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was well done, and I think that I will recognize a lot of. I'll be able to easily see when
Yeah.
I'm reading the book
Mhm.
because usually I read the book first, and I tend to cast
Yeah.
everyone that's in the book. I'll just make the list of. I'll just cast everyone, every character
Mhm.
with actors that I know, and then I can always imagine the scenery I would use and what would my set look like. And so now I'm going to be doing the opposite when I read Dune. So
Yeah.
that'll be interesting for me because I already have my cast, I already have my set, and so
Yeah.
it'll be kind of fun. But I mean, I do think I mean, these producers of the movie, they were really good.
Yeah.
So, and I can see that as mimicking war.
Mhm.
It absolutely
Yeah.
does.
Isn't that, I mean, I don't, I, again, like, I don't really know it that well. So, um,
Spice. It's all about the spice.
okay.
That I know.
Um, well, have you read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And it's funny because I read that when I started it early on, and then I don't before you were. Well, no, you were born. You were just like less than 2 years old. So, but your dad would sit down and read to the kids. He would read
Mhm.
from almost every night in the living room in our house in Massachusetts. And there was this kid across the street that was even older than Mason. Like he was in high school at the time.
Yeah.
Mason was in middle school. He would come over and listen to your dad read from his grandparents' house. And so then I thought, well, I've got to read it again because
Yeah.
I didn't finish it before because it was just so weird to me. I'm not science fiction and fantasy.
Yeah.
It's just not my genre. And because I have a really hard time imagining things. But
Mhm.
anyway, I read it again when we moved to Switzerland. The
Uh-huh.
first few months we were in Switzerland, I picked it off the bookshelf and I said, I'm going to read it. And I couldn't put it down. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Why am I
It,
enjoying this? But it's kind of funny. But
it,
I don't know if you read The World According to Garp. To me,
I haven't. I've only read the first one,
in my
and
opinion, yeah,
mhm. Yeah, but I, I have to read it again. But it's funny because that you say that I didn't know that he read it to us when we were like babies.
yeah,
Because when I was reading it the first time, like I've only read it once, but it did feels like very, very familiar. And I
yeah,
just thought, oh, well, like, Dad really likes this book.
yeah,
Maybe he's talked about it. But I didn't even think about it could possibly be like maybe he read it to me when I
yeah,
was a baby and it just, like
yeah.
sunk in.
I bet so. I bet that's exactly what it is. And it's funny because, um, yeah, he loved reading to you guys when you were little.
Yeah.
And one that I read to Amelia over and over and over again was Black Beauty.
Yeah, we have a couple copies. I started reading it.
I
I never
love
found
that book. That I absolutely love Black Beauty.
be able to read
I
it in a day.
love Black Beauty. So definitely need to read it.
It's
Absolutely.
funny because I've read Great Gatsby like 7 times and I've never read Black Beauty. Like,
That's on Lydia's school reading list this year.
really? I love
Yes.
Great
I said,
Gatsby.
I'm so excited you have to read that. I
Oh, darn,
said,
it's
just
too
remember
bad.
I'm Daisy.
It's too bad because I have a really nice copy of it, but it's in DC. I should have, if I had known that, I would have said, "Hey, bring Lydia the really nice copy." Like I have to get it back, obviously, but it's part of a set
Yeah.
of F. Scott Fitzgerald books, and it's like a really, really nice copy.
I don't know how. I don't know when it's gonna. It's sometime this semester before Christmas
Yeah.
because they just do one semester classes.
Yeah.
But so I don't know when they have to start reading it. But you know, I'll find out because
I mean, sometimes
it'll
there's
be
like I don't know. If I have like a really nice copy of a book, I really enjoy reading it from that.
yeah,
Rather, like sometimes it's nice to read like the ratty old like paperback. That's also
absolutely
I
because
love
the little blue one that we have there that was mine from high school.
it.
That was my high school copy, which is
Wow.
hilarious that it's still there.
Yeah,
And
like
and it is a ratty old copy. It even smells
yeah.
old, which I
Yeah.
I love that. I love an old bookstore.
But you know what I like what I want to tell Lydia is like because what I do every time I read it is I like find a day because it takes like 2 hours to read probably like it's or I think I read it in like 4 hours actually. It just like sit on the couch, like
Hmm.
find a day, like sit on the couch and read the whole thing because it's a lot to take in. And
Hmm.
so it's just so much easier like if you read it all at the same time, but also just because you want to like for me at least it's really hard to put down. It's so good.
Yeah,
But like I just really I don't think I could enjoy it if I didn't take it all in at the same time.
yeah.
Mhm.
That,
So
I love it. I mean,
she
it's
probably
just
wouldn't do it. Like she
I
wouldn't.
hope she'll enjoy it, but she's not reading much anymore. So, but I'm hoping. Okay, so I don't know what your siblings are reading. Do you know if anybody's reading anything?
I don't actually. No one talks to me anymore.
I
Well,
think
Rin has
everybody
to talk to
feels
me tomorrow. Rin has
what's
to talk.
okay. Why is that? Why does Ren have to
It's
talk?
Rin's birthday.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Is that today?
No, tomorrow. Today
Tomorrow.
was
Okay. I started to say, I thought it was tomorrow. Okay.
tomorrow. That's why I'm saying Rin has to talk to me tomorrow
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I was happy birthday.
I assume that Ren is working tomorrow because I met
I'll get
one of
him. Maybe I
his
can
closest
convince him
friends.
to wear his
Oh
shirt.
yeah, because it's clean.
I'll
We
wear it
did
to
all the
class.
laundry this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
But
wear
I
it
don't
to.
know if he's reading anything. I don't know. I don't know if he's reading anything right now. I have to ask. I don't know if Mason's reading anything. Because Mason working a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if Amelia's reading anything. I know that she's trying to familiarize herself with the DSM-5 and yeah, if she's going to apply to graduate schools, but
I know. I need to
that's
look
not a
into
lot of fun. That's not fun
med
reading.
school and figure out what I want to study because like I've been like thinking about all these different things. Like obviously I want to dance. Like that's
Yeah.
really what I want. But right now, like I might need to focus on maybe going to grad school. And so I don't know if I want to maybe see if I can study sports medicine or if I could study
That's so
nutrition.
true.
Because I really love that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Or
But like,
physical therapy. I
how
don't
do
know.
I go?
Would you want to go to graduate school in Europe or the US?
Yeah, I Europe definitely. I didn't because I have to pay for grad school myself. I can't afford to go in
So
the US.
you need to, we need to get in touch with Julie again
Mhm.
and see about
Yeah.
physical
Well, I
therapy.
don't know. I don't want to do physical therapy. Sports medicine is different.
I know, but still, I mean, if it's just an easier way to get into a field, I don't know.
I don't know. But I don't know. I think I've been because like here's the thing. It's like what I found out like recently when I started watching football. I've been like really invested in these players that are injured. That sounds really bad, but
No, it doesn't.
I've been like really interested in how because I kept saying, like Jude Bellingham, what he's injured with right now is a plantar fasciitis injury in his right foot.
That
And
is so
everyone kept saying
painful.
leg. And like when I first saw it, I was like, why are they saying leg? Because I knew for a fact it was in the foot.
Yep,
Like
yep,
plantar fasciitis is in the foot. And like I keep saying leg. And so I was talking to dad about it, and he was like, no, that's in the foot. And I was like, okay, so I'm not crazy. And
yeah.
so
So maybe
I
they got the wrong injury.
maybe
If his
that's
leg
the thing.
hurts, they're
And
calling the
also
injury
what
the
I've
wrong
been
thing.
fascinated by like forever is because I've always been that person who's never injured.
Yep.
Like or
No, 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 no.
not had like a major
Not
injury.
major, but you
Yeah.
have popped your hip and
Oh
your
yeah, I know.
back.
I did that earlier today. Actually, I really like messed up my hip or like for a little bit while I was stretching.
And when we
Um,
first moved there, your knee was bothering you quite a bit.
yeah, like I've had like knee issues, but I haven't had like a major injury. But
Right.
what I've been really interested in is how can we actually prevent injury, like doing
Yes.
prevention? Because I feel like that's not talked about in sports very much. They're just like, oh,
Absolutely.
injuries happen. But like, do they really do all these like injuries really have to happen?
Nope.
It's like
They don't.
one of
They
the
don't.
players, he played for France at the Euros and he plays for Real Madrid,
Yep.
Camavinga. He just tore his ACL like during a training time before the Super Cup, like
Oh
the
my
day they
goodness.
were supposed to play. And I was like, well, how could he have prevented that? Because this was like a couple weeks after the Euros, and I don't know if he took a vacation or if he,
Yep.
I don't think he played at the Olympics, but I don't know. And it's like, how can we like put in a plan in place for players of like any sport
I
to
have some thoughts
prevent?
when you finish.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
We're
it's
getting
okay.
way off topic. We're not
I
talking
know
about books.
we're not talking about books, but there's probably some good books you can read because one
Yeah,
thing that I will tell you is definitely an article I read.
yeah.
Um, is that in the like when I was growing up,
Mhm.
we played sports year round, but we played different sports. We conditioned our body differently for every
Exactly.
season. So we
Yeah.
had full body conditioning and it wasn't specific. And so injuries were we were much less prone to injury.
Yeah, and that's the
Absolutely.
also the thing. There's like studies about preventing burnout
Hmm.
and how preventing burnout can actually prevent injuries.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because it
Yeah.
does, like that's how you get injured is you're like so burnt out and that you're just your body is so tired. And doing separate different kinds of things that prevents burnout.
Yep.
Like that keeps you from like getting so tired of it that you're just like you can't physically like go on with it.
Yep.
Um, and it's so interesting.
Okay, well, okay. Talk about books. I have a book in my head right now that we can write after you finish this degree.
Yeah.
Because I mean, because of course I'm thinking of it from an older woman, mother,
Yeah.
grandmother perspective.
Uh-huh.
What are the ways that I prevent burnout? And I can't do my core exercise every day for 30 days because I get bored with it and I quit doing it. So how do I still strengthen my core, still stay active?
Do you
See
like
what I'm saying? I've
change
got to
the
find.
workout?
We got to build that book. Write that
Well,
book.
do you change this is the okay, here you go. Do you change your workout?
I rarely change it. I rarely
You
change
need
it.
to. That's why. And
Okay.
what I do, I work out to music. So,
Okay.
right now, like I just started this workout that I've been doing. It's been 3 months that I've been doing it, I think. And I up it every few weeks. So like up how many reps of something I'm doing. So right now I'm at 25 crunches and I need to up it to 30 right
Mhm.
now because I was too lazy to do it today because it was so hot out when I walked back from class. I just was like, I can't do more right now. Um, but also like I work out to music and so with upping it obviously I have to change around some of my music on my playlist, so I think that can help too because it kind of feels different when you work out to different music.
Right.
So my cardio that I do, it used to be it took the entirety of one song, and now because I've upped it, it takes 1.5 songs, and it does feel different because it's going from one song to the next, and it's like you get a different feel and a different tempo, a different rhythm as you're doing the workout.
And see, I haven't been doing music because I do the workout right before work. And so
Okay.
I'll take my shower at night. I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I do my workout. Then I pack my lunch. I eat my breakfast.
Okay, I'm getting
I
a
mean,
bit
it's
far.
just, and so I'm not getting like, but I'm not getting any walking in. And I'm
Yeah.
so kind of
Hmm.
depressed about that. I'm not out in nature. I'm just doing my workout in the morning on the floor on my yoga mat. And I got to figure something else out. I got to figure out so what a book I want to write.
Is it possible for you to change the time of your workout? So like if you sleep in a little bit later, then you can stay up and do your workout right before bed. And that'll also help you sleep because
Okay.
you'll be tired when you go to sleep, and that'll improve your workout too because you'll be getting more sleep.
Okay.
Like
So
better. I mean, hopefully more
I
sleep, but
wanted to try that. So,
yeah.
what do you think my timing should be on workouts? I'm not gonna lie to you. There are
Mhm.
days that I come here and I'm working
Mhm.
until 9:30, grading papers, making sure
Yeah.
things are in lesson planning, and
Yeah.
then I take a
Well,
shower and go to bed. And I got to
how
figure out,
how long
like,
does your workout take? Does it take 30 minutes?
yeah, but at the most,
So, you just schedule a 30-minute time. And like if you do it consistently enough, it'll stick in your body that like you'll be able to do it
yeah,
every day. Like I found that tough because I just had to switch around when I do my workout because I used
yeah,
to do it in the morning, but now I have to do it in the afternoon.
okay,
Because I have class and like because I want to have a good breakfast in the mornings because that also helps you actually like if you're hoping to lose weight. I don't know if I've seen like actual research. I've just seen this around where if you eat a good breakfast, it actually helps you lose weight because you're eating less during the day.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
snacking less, you're not as hungry during the day.
Oh, I don't even have time to snack. I'm not gonna lie. I have like I've got
Mhm.
I'm hoping that this week now that,
Yeah.
I'm hoping to figure out my weekends. I think I'm not going back to Ren's for 4 weeks, but I hate that he's gonna have to wait that long to do laundry.
Hold on, you cut
Because
out a little bit there.
oh, I'm hitting
Mhm.
even now still. Oh, my internet connection is unstable. Is this?
Oh yeah, it just like cut out for a little bit. It got a little
But anyway,
awkward.
I've
But
got to figure out because I hate for Ren to have to wait 4 weeks to do his laundry, but it might have to wait 4 weeks because he's off every other weekend.
yeah,
But the weekend that he's off next,
yeah.
I was planning on going in 2 weeks, but now that Auntie needs me to come to Lexington next weekend, I really need a weekend.
Hmm.
I'm not traveling, so we could, but I still may end up going.
Hmm.
Yeah, but anyway, I still may end up going in 2 weeks to Ren's, but then maybe after that weekend to Ren. So I'll probably travel the next 2 weekends, but then the third one, hopefully, I'm here.
Yeah.
Um, but I want to change my workout and stuff
Mhm.
now. I mean, I have to change it now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best time to change it is like you gotta like get on it
But
because the
yeah,
longer you put it off, the harder it is to get it
yeah.
started.
So I have to do that. So I mean, I don't mind that I would have 2 workouts a day. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
But I'll start the evening one because if I
Mhm.
do the workout, then take the shower, I'm ready
Yeah,
for bed.
exactly. There you go.
And
Yeah.
so that
Mhm.
works for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got off subject of our book. Maybe
I know.
we got instead of reading, we started talking about a book we want to write. Maybe that's how that came around to that, right?
I
So
know. I don't even
okay,
know.
it's
Oh,
just
we were talking about master's degrees because we were talking
yeah,
about wanting to start. But yeah, I mean, I definitely got to look into that and, you
yeah,
know,
I think so.
I love
Absolutely,
that kind of stuff.
yeah. I mean, I think that it would be good.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, I want you guys to absolutely find a career that you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I would
and
love,
don't
like,
be stuck like me because I waited too late to,
yeah, I mean,
and now I can't get hired anywhere. You know.
I
Okay, so
think,
anyway, what are the books? We started talking
well,
about writing a book, and then
yeah, it's okay. It's okay to get off topic. It's fine.
it absolutely is. That's kind of the
Well,
fun part of it.
I What there was, oh gosh. Well, I mean, honestly, my favorite book is Devil All the Time. Like it keeps
Yeah,
staying, like you read other books and it still stays as my favorite. Like even as much as I love The Great Gatsby, that could never be my favorite book. I don't
yeah.
know. Like I think just the way it like I don't know, it could never be like a favorite book, but it's definitely like
I
one
don't
of
even know that I have a favorite book.
I mean, it's
I
really hard to have a favorite book because it
I
makes
really just enjoy.
and
I
okay, and
think
so this is really funny. And hear me out about this. And maybe it's just because I read them around the same time and because the movies both have Tom Holland in them.
yeah.
But Carrie by Nika Walker is like, I
Which
know
one?
it's Cherry by Nika
Oh,
Walker.
Terry. Oh God,
That was
that
so
was
good.
good.
It's like kind
I
of in such
cried.
a in the most abstract way mirrors the devil all the time. Tell me it doesn't.
It does, but I didn't see the movie. So, but I read the book, and I've
Yeah.
read both books. And
Mhm.
as far as
It's
music, yes, except for a different time setting,
completely,
different
completely
generation.
different time setting,
But yes, absolutely
completely different
mirrors it.
characters, not even alike at all, but in the most abstract way. They
Yep,
mirror.
yep, yep.
That's
I
the
agree.
step all the time. The nonfiction is Cherry, and it's you
Yeah,
would never know, and not even with the movies, because the movies aren't even alike at all, except for Tom Holland being the main character,
yeah.
right? That's the only thing that's similar, and yet they still like the books. You only get this if you
Hmm.
read the books. The
And here's the
movies,
thing.
not
I
at all. But when
yeah,
you read the
I
books, you
think with
need
Devil all the time that
it.
the fear in that one, when I felt the fear in that one, is because I I don't know, almost like it was almost like a personal experience for me.
Yeah. I mean,
And
but it's
then, but Terry also a personal experience in a very
but
different
you,
way.
I mean, with Devil all the time, you had the personal experience of it being like you knew these people.
Absolutely. I know those kind of people. I know them. And
Yeah.
then the one you haven't read, I don't think you've read, that I read last year, and then I bought Crystal a copy of it because I loved it so much, was Demon Copperfield.
No, I haven't, but I keep seeing it.
I love Barbara Kingsolver as an
Mary.
author. She
Yeah.
is such a good author. Um, the first book I read by her was Poisonwood Bible, because I think everybody that likes her as an author read
Mhm.
that one. That was really, really good.
Mhm.
And that was before you were born.
Okay.
That I read that one. And it was really good because it kind of, she told some personal experiences in it. It kind
Yeah.
of like what good authors do. And that was a really good one.
Mhm.
And so Demon Copperfield, it's so funny because I read that book after your dad and I had watched that show Justified. And it's
Okay.
set in the same county. And but they have nothing to do with each other. The
It's
show
just
has
the
nothing to
one
do.
with Timothy Oliphant in it.
Yes. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, yes.
With the big hat.
Yes. Yes.
Because on The Good Place, the judge loves Justified because Timothy Oliphant is in it.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's
and
funny.
which is really funny. And you know Timothy Oliphant is in The Office, right?
I guess I didn't remember that.
See, I didn't realize that because I knew who Timothy Oliphant was, but I didn't know that like that was the character he played because I didn't actually know what he looked like.
I remember now because he and
Yeah.
John didn't really mess. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jim. He and Jim didn't mess.
Yeah, because of he had gone on like one date with or two
Yes.
dates with Pam and like
Yep.
whatever. It was like really
That was
stupid.
funny. It was cute
Um
though.
but
Yeah.
anyway, going I want to go back to Cherry and Devil all the time because
Okay. Sorry.
I think what the even though like the abstract like it is very abstract how they marry each other, but I think it's because the characters are so similar. Like they are the same character just in a
Yeah.
different time. Like think about it. They had like all this stuff like that happened to them and they like couldn't help like they had to do what they had to do,
Absolutely.
right? Like even though it was like in Arvin's case it was definitely it was a choice, but he still like it in some sense of defending his family and like defending his honor putting or his family's honor, defending his sister's honor. He had to do what he had to do. And with Cherry, the main character, he doesn't really have a name because it's semi-autobiographical, but with Cherry, he had to do what he had to do because he had an issue. Like he couldn't help that. Like he couldn't help what like he went through. And so
Right.
I just think it's so interesting how similar they are in such complete different ways.
Okay. Wait, question.
Mhm.
Wait a minute. Is Devil All the Time? Okay. So I'm thinking of a book that I read,
Uh-huh.
and the character
Uh-huh.
was in, when he was in high school, okay. So I know, I don't know if it's a different book by the same author.
I don't know. You gotta
Okay, I know. Okay, so character, high school, cousin or not his sister, maybe a cousin or something, also living with the grandparents, gets pregnant. Um,
no, that is Devil All the Time. It is
that's
kind
Devil
of
all the time.
they're
Okay,
not actually related,
okay,
but it is they go by sister. She's not even related to
yeah, yeah.
his.
Oh, that's right, that's right, that's right. Okay,
So
but
yeah,
is that
I
the
have
one
definitely
also where the preacher puts the spiders on his head?
yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
definitely.
I'm all in the same book. Okay, I thought
Yeah,
I
it's
had
a
two different
lot.
books going
There's
in my
a
head.
lot
Oh
that
my
happens.
God.
It's like
Yeah,
360 pages and so much happens.
yeah, yeah.
Because it
Okay.
keeps flipping back and forth between the different stories,
Mm-hmm.
which is what I really love about Donald Ray Pollock. He's so good about that, like good at that. Because
Yeah.
if you did you read Knock 'em Stiff?
Yes, I did. And I couldn't remember if I was getting Knock 'em Stiff mixed up with Devil all the time. Because in Knock 'em Stiff, wait a minute, that's
Mhm.
when they go out to the woods to pray. Am I correct?
No, that's
That's
in
Devil
Devil.
all the time. Okay, yes, I read Knock 'em Stiff. I don't, for some reason, not getting it in my
So
head.
okay, you know what's so funny? So in Knock 'em Stiff, he references the devil all the time.
Okay.
Because one of the towns that the devil all the time happens in is Knock 'em Stiff.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And here's I think I don't remember if Knock 'em
Wait a
Stiff.
minute, Knock 'em Stiff, the boys are always playing outside and okay. No, no, it's Devil all the time. I'm pretty sure.
What do you
Sorry.
mean always playing? What do you mean playing
Okay,
outside?
playing out behind that little store, the store that the guy also lives in. The okay,
I'm
store
pretty
right
sure
up.
that's
I'm sorry.
I'm
That's
pretty
not
sure that
consent.
was Malcolm stuff.
Okay,
Because
all right.
time, I don't think. It's been, I mean, I guess it's been like 2 years since I've read the
Yeah,
book.
they're both so good though. I
God,
agree. Pollock is a very good.
Alec is really good. I never finished that other one that he wrote that I didn't like as much, but it was b based in like the 1920s in North Carolina. And I
Okay.
don't know, I never really like got through it. Maybe it's because it was on the Kindle. I
Oh,
couldn't
well, I
read it.
got some books to talk about. Anyway, go ahead, finish.
No, I mean that was it. Like I couldn't read it because it was on the Kindle, I think. I was gonna look up if Knock 'em Stiff was written before Devil All the
It's
Time.
okay. Okay, do you know the books I bought last year at the Apple Festival by Rose Senahe, the author that is living in the western part of North Carolina, in like
Hmm.
um, oh, whatever the little town is, Chimney Rock or
Heavenly
something.
Table is the one I never finished.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So I
Yeah.
think I finished it. I'm not sure. Maybe I
But
didn't. But anyway, so I met the author last year. I bought
I was
several books
right.
and she gave me
Okay,
one
sorry,
free.
sorry, sorry. I gotta interrupt you. I was right. Devil of the Time was written after Knock'em Stiff, which makes that so interesting. I think Devil of the Time probably then he wrote it based on what he wrote in Knock'em Stiff. Because there was a part where they just briefly mention things that happened in Devil All the Time, but they were written 3 years apart.
Okay. All right. So anyway, this author that I met last year, I bought her book. She wrote one. She addressed one to Mason, addressed one to me, and I came back and I read them. And so
Mhm.
I could not wait. When I
Yeah.
got to the Apple Festival, I was going to see if she was there again this year. And I was not worried because she was so older. And so
Yeah.
anyway, I walked up to her and I said, "Oh God, oh, I read this one, this one, this one." And so because she's still doing this special where you buy two, she gives you one free. Well, I've already read the free one.
Yeah.
So she, I got three more, and there
Mhm.
was one about Chimney Rock. I thought I'd already read it. Turns out I hadn't read that one yet, so I need to get it. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, I was telling somebody in line was asking me about the books, and I was telling them all about it. And then it was finally my turn, and she said I couldn't even talk to the other people because you were talking about my books, and you were right. And it's like, how does this woman remember everything that I wrote in these books? And she said, you have such a good memory about reading. I said, oh no, I loved them. I said, I think you're such a good author, and so that's why I'm here to get some more books, take them back. I said, if I'm going back to Switzerland, what she said, well, I want to know when you're going to be back in this area. I said,
Mhm.
I'm not sure why. She said, because I want you to come see my garden.
Oh
I
my God.
said, well, I do love a beautiful garden and a good cup of tea.
Mhm.
She said, me too. She said, I'm serious. Email me when you're
Mhm.
back in the area
Mhm.
because I want you to come over.
Yeah.
I said,
Nice.
okay, I will. So I'm hoping to go to Rose Senahe's house, and talk
Nice.
about her books. And I
Mhm.
got to get that one about Chimney Rock. But anyway, this time she signed one to your dad.
Nice.
I know. I was so happy. I said, okay, let's do this one to Todd. She said, okay. She said, but I can still sign one to you. I said, okay, yeah, I'll take another one. But
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, I was kind of really thrilled about that. So I love her books because they do talk about um families in the area, and she uses like real last names of
Okay.
families, and she kind of studies that family history
Yeah.
from public records that she can find at these little towns in Western North Carolina. But in the last one that I read, and I'm pretty sure it was Render Unto the Valley,
Mhm.
it was about a girl who left Western North Carolina and because of things that happened,
Mhm.
and she left. And so she married a guy in New York, was
Mhm.
director of some big exhibit at the Met.
Uh-huh.
And so anyway, her husband died.
Okay.
And she was thinking, well, maybe I should go back to North Carolina. So she
Mhm.
packs her well, I guess her daughter's like 11.
Mhm.
And they go back to North Carolina, at least for the summer. So because her grandma was in the hospital.
Mhm.
And she thought, okay, well, I can at least go get grandma's estate, get her orders in
Mhm.
things taken care of. And so she's spending time with her uncle. And turns out she hadn't had a relationship with her mother ever.
Well. Mhm.
But it was such a good story. It was really, really good. And so I was telling the author, I will say, I love the last line in this book. She said,
Mhm.
"Oh, what was it?" I thought it was so funny that she didn't remember what she wrote. I said, "The guy says I really wanted to take the two of you out to dinner." And she wouldn't speak to him. She was just chopping vegetables and she was cooking dinner. She was not going to let him take her out. And then finally, she puts the knife down. She turned around. She said, you can just take us out to breakfast.
Mhm.
And I'm like, ah. So, that sells a lot. Is he going to stay? Because, the whole, it was just, it's really, really good.
Mhm.
They're good stories
You know
and
what's really funny?
they're relatable. But anyway, she mentions Lexington in the last book.
Interesting. You know what's really funny about that story is like it kind of sounds like the story you told about your great aunt or whatever, great aunt that owned Kirkus Reviews or
His
whatever.
reviews, yeah.
Like the beginning of that where she like leaves North Carolina
She left
like to
Georgia. Georgia. She was in Georgia.
yeah, whatever. It
Yeah.
it sounds kind of like
Yep.
you
Gotta make it
great.
on her own because, family wasn't gonna do it.
Yeah.
Nobody believed in her getting her education, right?
Yeah.
It was so funny because that's happened in a few generations of carcasses. I mean, it was obviously what happened with me.
Mhm.
Nobody
Mhm.
saw education as important as I did.
Yeah.
And you know what? I had a third grade teacher that put me on that path.
Hmm.
And I really wish I could find her. I don't know if she's still alive, but I've been kind of looking for her for about 5 years now. Just in records and stuff, trying to find out if there's anybody related to Miss Conti. And I really want to talk to her. I really
Hmm.
want to see her. So. But anyway, she was one that she was really important about books. Again, it was a book thing, and it was funny because I never, I had to read The Great Gatsby in high
Hmm.
school,
Hmm.
but I didn't read the whole thing. Like I would read parts that we were required to read.
Yeah.
I never sat and read the whole thing through.
Uh,
And then, but we all got our own copy of it, so I kept my copy.
mhm.
And then I never read like a novel all the
Mhm.
way through until I was pregnant with Mason. So I was like 28 years old before I
Mhm.
ever read a book
Mhm.
cover to cover like that was a novel.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously little books, children's books, but one of my first babysitters, she always took us to the public library. Books were always important, but
Mhm.
I never had the confidence to finish a big novel.
Mhm.
I never had, I always blamed it on time. I
Mhm.
just didn't take the time. And
Yeah.
so I feel like I've been trying to catch up
Mhm.
all these years. Like 30 years, I've been trying to catch up on all the reading I missed the first 30 years.
Yeah.
So, uh, yeah, I just, those 28 years
Mhm.
before where I could have been reading more. And I
Yeah.
would, and now for 30 years, I've been trying to read as much as I could. And so, and then of course I pick up 3 books this week and don't tell Dad. But one of them is signed in. But it was so fun because I'll find books. I even bought a stupid sticker about books. Um, it says happiest when reading or something. It's just like a
Yeah.
stack of books to put on a computer or a water
Mhm.
bottle or something. But
Yeah.
I,
Mhm.
I think it's important. I always wanted my kids to be readers.
Mhm.
I always felt like honestly the best students are readers.
Mhm.
Students who read
Mhm.
are the best students
Yeah.
because it is fundamental to every subject. You
Mhm.
have to read your science. You actually have to read in math and understand math. Everything requires good reading, and
Yeah.
that's what we got. I mean, it's just, and I don't know.
Mhm.
I just, I wish I had been a stronger reader earlier, and I wish I had learned to enjoy it.
Mhm.
But I've got some good books for you to read.
Yeah.
Oh, I want you to read. There's a couple. Oh, you've got so many I've given you that you hadn't
I
read yet.
know, like
It's okay. It's okay. You'll get to it. You'll get to them. I'm not worried. I love Daisy Jones and the Six. Oh my God, I say it every time we're talking about books.
I still have to read No Exit. I haven't read that one.
Oh my God, that's so good, suspenseful. Oh, and that's when Rose sent me. She said, "No, this one's scary." I said, "Well, I'll keep that separate. I'll read that during the day. No worry, I won't read it tonight."
Oh, that seems like
Okay.
something I would do at night. Like I mean, I
And
really
it's set in the mountains of North Carolina. Hold on, let me go grab. You want me to grab it? No,
which
it's too far away.
I don't know. It's fine. But no, I love like scary stuff. So
Yeah.
I
This was
yeah.
about in the forest, in the
Yeah.
woods, in
It's
North Carolina.
Where the Crawdads Sing, but I haven't read that book.
Oh gosh, it's so good.
I
Oh,
haven't read that
it's
book yet.
so good.
But yeah, that one's yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, so
Mhm.
you went opposite on that one. You
Oh
saw the
yeah, yeah,
movie.
yeah. I've seen the movie
It's
twice.
okay. But now you already have the cast in your head, so you don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, I know.
And you have the setting, even though it's not
It's
accurate as far as distance and
like,
whatever.
you can tell she's not from North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like
But
which
mm,
it's
ugh.
a Okay. You
It's
know, it's like
still good.
it's the only fictional book she's ever written. She had like one other book, I think, but it was about because she's a biologist.
I'm not. I started saying, isn't she a biologist? So she
Um,
probably actually. That's probably her. That's probably her life. The writing the book about the birds and stuff.
it is, yeah.
That's her life.
Yeah.
Ah, I love it. I love knowing that. That's
Yeah.
such a good book. And they did a really good job with the movie. I felt like it was probably a limited budget, but I'm telling you, I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I think like I mean, but here's the thing, like if you have a movie like North Carolina, like the way that it is, just in general, you don't need a lot of budget to
Mm-mm.
make a good movie about North Carolina.
No, it's a beautiful,
Because
beautiful
it's a
state.
really nice area. Like it's not parts of it are not super expensive. Like the parts that you want to film, like in the mountains and in on the coast, like not I mean, except well, parts of the coast are really
Coast
expensive.
can be expensive, yeah.
There's parts of the coast that aren't. Like I'm sure parts of Fayetteville is are not
Yep.
super.
Nope.
Wilmington's probably kind of expensive, but like even like Pembroke area,
Yep.
that's not super
Mm-mm.
far from Fayetteville, right? So it's
Yeah. I can
yeah.
get to Fayetteville probably in 15 minutes from where I'm at, and Pembroke's maybe 25.
Yeah. So, you know, it's a really, you know, nice area and yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think I don't know if they actually filmed in North Carolina, but
I don't know. They may have because it's kind of marshy. I mean, some of it was, in the marshy areas, so
yeah.
maybe,
And somehow,
maybe
you know,
South Carolina.
driving to Asheville in less than a day and only staying
Well,
one
I
night.
mean, Dad and I didn't. We went from
Well,
the
yeah,
coast.
okay, you had to get up super early in the morning and they
Absolutely.
had
But
like
that
you
was the
did
purpose of the trip, right? The purpose was watch the sunrise in the east and watch it set in the west. And that was for North Carolina. I still want to watch it rise in the east, fly across the country, and watch it set in the west of the country.
yeah.
So I've done it in North Carolina. Now I want to do it in the whole United States.
Yeah.
So still a little bucket list piece there. But yeah, well, I mean, we didn't, and we had plenty of time. I mean, we had lunch at Campbell. We stopped and had lunch at the place where we met, and then we kept going on to Western, and we went shopping like for more camping stuff
Yeah.
before we went up to Mount Mitchell to watch the sun set. And we were up there well before it set. I mean, we were actually starting to get bored waiting on
Yeah.
the sun to set, which is like, okay, we kind of got up here too early. It
Yeah.
didn't have much, so it was kind of that was kind of funny. But I think the ride back down that hill from Mount Mitchell was probably the best part because it was so dark.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a car, we had to stop in the middle of the road. There was a huge owl sitting in our lane. And we
Oh,
couldn't see it till all of a sudden we see its eyes. And it
yeah.
honestly stood as tall as the front end of the car. And it
Wow.
would have put a big dent in the car had we hit it. And it
Yeah.
just stood there and looked at us like, really? You think you're going down this hill? And we had to wait for it to fly out. It was like, are you? And man, we were worried somebody's going to come around the curve and hit us in the rear, but
Yeah.
that was crazy. That
Yeah.
was funny. So that's a story to write in your
Yeah.
book. Dad could probably write it better because he was driving. I was just scared. I was like, and
Yeah.
he hates it when I do that.
Crazy around the curves in the mountains.
What's that?
People in the mountains drive like crazy around the
They
curves too.
they do. They scare
They
me.
don't think that there's going to be people around the curve, which is crazy. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, there's so many animals that just like run across the road. Like you have to be prepared to stop, and I don't think people are, but you know,
Mm-mm.
it's fine. That's a different conversation.
Yeah. That exactly. Things I hate about driving. That's a whole different. Or riding in a car.
Yeah. Well, you know, Mbappe doesn't drive.
Oh, good for him.
He doesn't
Smart.
like he's like I'm pretty sure he doesn't even want to learn. Like
Yeah.
he knows what kind of car he would want if he did learn how to drive, but he doesn't drive at all. Like
That's
he doesn't
funny.
know how.
That's funny. Well, I still haven't finished my can of Prosecco.
It's okay.
So,
I have
what are the books? Let's see. Well, I'm going to meet the author, Rose.
a,
Um, so I don't know if she's got a book in the works, but I could tell her my story. Maybe she'll, help me write my story. She told me, she said, there's a there's a system to it. There's a template.
yeah.
She said, and I can teach it.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to. So I don't know if Ren's reading anything. Did I
I don't
already
know.
mention that? I don't know if Ren's
We
reading.
could already talk about this.
Okay. I just I hate that because, like I said, I always wanted y'all to be readers.
Yeah.
And honestly, most y'all are. I mean,
Mhm.
you maybe the most, but Mason will read and
Mhm.
enjoys reading.
Yeah.
Um, and Meg enjoys reading. Certain, I mean, obviously, we just all have our own
Yeah.
genre that we like. But your dad's a reader. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I didn't become a reader until after I married him. And
Yeah.
the first book he introduced me to was The Firm by John Grisham. And let me tell you, I couldn't get enough. I had to read every John Grisham book that came out. So after I read The Firm, I read The Pelican Brief, and this was all when I was pregnant with Mason. I would get John Grisham books from the library, just like crazy stacks of them, and just
Mhm.
read when I was on bed rest with
Well,
Mason. And then I got into the Alphabet series by what was her
Sue Grant.
name? Sue Grafton. Oh my goodness, yes. I
I
love
knew
those
it was never
books.
in any of the books, but I knew that was Sue Grafton.
Yeah, well, there's one there. I think Y might be there or V.
I
I'm
think
not
it's
sure.
B. I think it's
V.
B.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that one's there. You should read it. And you know what? Another one I absolutely love that I've read recently, since we've been in Switzerland, was the it was a true story about the Foyt's guy that left Switzerland. He grew up in the Interlaken Muren area,
Mhm.
and he became a mountain guide in Canada. And the author that wrote the book knew him when she was a child.
Oh wow.
They would
Mhm.
go, they would leave California and go to Canada for summer vacation, and he would take them on guides. And she
Yeah.
knew him up until the day he died.
Uh-huh.
And she tells the stories of his life, because
Yeah.
he gave her the story, but they're just little anecdotes in there about when she was a kid and about when she was older.
Mhm.
So she would go see him up until basically up until he died, and they
Yeah.
would go to his old house and his wife and would entertain them. And it's such a good book. It's such a good book. And there is a little moment in there where they had a little too much to drink at a bar. You can't. It's just cute. It's cute, cute, cute. But he always told them, he said, "Oh, don't worry," because they would go slow. And she was
Yeah.
young. She wanted to go fast up the mountain.
Yeah.
He'd say, "Nope,
Mhm.
just gotta go the right pace."
Yeah.
And people would pass them, and it would just make her so mad.
Mhm.
And sure enough, they would slowly walk past these people who were worn out and couldn't make it to the top
Yeah.
because they started out too fast. And so
Yeah.
he would always say, "I told you, you got to
Mhm.
get there. You got to do the right pace." And so, as a hiker, I love that book. I love that story. And a hiker in Switzerland, it just that story meant a lot to me. And
Mhm.
also, I corresponded back with her on when it was still Twitter. We would correspond back and forth on Twitter about the book and stuff. And the day I finished reading it, I actually had been walking from our house along the river to
Mhm.
Solothurn. And I
Yeah.
knew I only had about 2 chapters left to finish the book. So I sat down along the river in Solothurn and I just cried
Mhm.
when I
Yeah.
finished it. And I
Mhm.
immediately sent her a tweet. I
Yeah.
was like, "I just want to tell you what's just happened." And she said, "I know he'd be so happy knowing that you just finished that book in Switzerland." So, yeah, that's makes me feel good. So, that was a good book. So you should read that one too. And I know it's got a lot of flags in it. It's probably marked all up, but still,
Yeah.
good
Well,
book.
did you ever read and this one is nonfiction. Like it's very much like it's kind of intense. The Underground Girls of Kabul.
I have not read that one. I want
I
to
read
read that
it
one.
in high school
Yeah,
for
you did for
reference
human
class,
geography.
geography.
Yeah.
And honestly, such a good book. Like that book is so good. And that one's marked up like crazy too. I mean, yeah, I think I only have like two books that I've marked up because I have my choreography book that is like literally, I don't think I feel like it would be really hard for anyone to actually read that book right now because of how I've written in it. Um, so it's
That's funny.
crazy,
But
but
it's what got this is really how we learn. I
yeah,
know y'all used to get so frustrated at your middle school teachers about annotation, and I'm making these boys annotate, and it
yeah.
drives them crazy. But you know what? It
Because
just
like you just want to like read it and like I have
yeah,
that hard time still like where I don't know how to write in the book like what I'm thinking.
yeah.
So that's what was really hard for annotation, like, because I know what I feel and I know what I think. I don't know how to write that down.
Yep.
Like, and I know what I'm thinking about it, and I know how I can put that in a paper later. I don't know how to write that down as a note.
I think that you can learn so much more from it when you annotate because you can
Yeah,
ask the questions you want to look up
yeah,
later. And not,
yeah,
we don't always go back and look those questions up. Absolutely
yeah.
not. But
I mean,
we
I
have
did
them
that
at the time, and we
with
just
my
pop that
geography book.
question out.
Like I did go back. Like I have been able to go back with that one and like use like I because I wrote stuff that like I wanted to choreograph in it and like what kind of music I want to use and like that kind of stuff. And I still have a couple more chapters I need to annotate because I've skipped around.
But see, if you
And
didn't have that experience, you wouldn't know to do that.
yeah.
So I think that that's what it is. That's the whole point of it to me is
Mhm.
get the experience now. Do it on easy stuff. And
Yeah.
then when you're older, this is going to come back to you and it's going to matter.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so another one that we both love.
So
um,
it's I think
Watership Downs.
yeah, that one's so good.
That makes me cry too. 'Cause that's another one
Yeah.
that I've read a few times that I was supposed to read it in high school, didn't do it, just read the parts that were
Mhm.
assigned, and then read it. It's one of the ones that Dad got for me from a library when I was pregnant,
Mhm.
and read it. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh gosh, I wish I had read this when I was supposed to, because
Yeah.
but
It's
I've read it, I've read it several times now, and yeah,
And I know there's like shows and movies that have been like created for it. I don't think I could watch. Like I started watching a Netflix show that was like Watership Down, like they turned it into a Netflix show and I couldn't watch it because like it feels just so wrong to
yeah.
experience it not as a book.
Then I've got something you're really gonna hate.
Oh boy.
When I was in high school, were supposed to read that book, blah blah. I just read the parts I was supposed to.
Yeah.
Then they started developing a big neighborhood on High Rock Lake and
Uh-huh.
named it Watership Downs.
Oh
And my
no.
only thought was, you mean you're killing all the animals that live in this
Yeah,
forest
you should
to
do that.
build these houses? That was exactly what happened, and it's exactly what happened. So
Yeah,
they
like
basically named this. That they told how cruel they were by building up these
yeah,
fancy
like
rich people's houses
God,
to
you're
kill
gonna
the.
have a little fiber.
And then
Fiber.
they bragged about it by naming it Watership Downs.
Oh my God. Fiverr is my favorite character.
Oh,
I,
absolutely. Absolutely.
he's just a little runt. He's so cute. God.
But he cares so much.
Oh,
No. And that was the Mrs. The Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. Did you read that one?
no, I
So
started
good.
it and
It
never.
might be there.
No, I know. I have a copy. No, the copy is actually in DC. I know exactly
Okay.
where it is. 'Cause I brought it to
It's
school
so
with
good.
me. I
It's
never,
so good.
but
I read that one in a day. I mean, I
I'm
just couldn't stop.
not 100% sure I actually haven't read it. I'm pretty sure I haven't, but I know I started it, so I don't know if I ever actually finished it.
It's good. I love
Mhm.
it. I like, it's so funny because there was a series that Mason was reading in middle school, maybe,
Mhm.
that he kept trying to get me to read. And I tried reading it. I didn't get all three books read.
Okay.
But I could see why you liked it. It
Yeah.
was, it was more fantasy. He
Yeah.
likes that that genre like your dad.
Yeah.
They kind of have the same
Yeah.
taste in books.
I do love fiction books. So,
I
but
do too. But I also I love self-help books. I love poetry.
yeah.
I love to read.
Mhm. You know the one thing I can't stand? I cannot stand romance novels.
Okay,
Do
now
not.
I hope you don't think Rose's books are romance books because they're not. They're actually about they're fictional characters with real history.
Well, yeah, that's different. I mean stuff
But
like
every one of them kind of hook up with.
I'm talking about like Nicholas Sparks. Like I do
And you
not
know
like.
what? I hate it because they read so well. They read so fast and well to me that I kind of like them. But
Oh
I
yeah,
don't like Danielle Steele and stuff like that. Like stuff like my sister
I have
liked.
read
And
Danielle's.
there's something that yeah, I agree. I'm not a big fan of romance novels unless it's set around Christmas time, and then I love it.
That's too cute. Like the
I
Hallmark
love
movies.
Christmas books.
That's
Oh my
the
gosh!
Hallmark movies and books. Like
And I don't know if I told you last year at Christmas because you weren't here early. it's so
Yeah.
late when you got here. Or I'm sorry, there when you got there, and I'm not even there now. I'm saying here, but I said, okay, 5 days before Christmas, I'm going to start reading the Christmas Carol.
Yeah, yeah, you told
And your
me.
dad said, don't do that. But I'm so glad I did. Every night I sat down and read one chapter.
Christmas
And
Carol.
I am so, so glad I did. And I want to keep that up
Yeah.
because, of course I've read it before, but this time most of the time I'd read it in two sittings.
Yeah.
This time I took my time with it. And
Hmm.
I want to do that every
Yeah.
year. And
Yeah.
I loved it. But I also read I had 2 or 3 books that I read that were set at Christmas that
Yeah.
were really, really good. So I probably need to set my Kindle up set the Christmas stuff up separate. I don't know if I can do a folder on my Kindle, but
Um,
yeah. Well, thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the conversation.
We'll be back next week with a new bottle of wine and a new topic. In the meantime, if you want to join the conversation, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Wine Together Pod.